So, um, okay, I'll share screens first. If I can, 1 second. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. Okay, so can we see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Helen and I counted up recently the amount of homeschooling years we have between us, and we decided I think it was close to 45 years, which kind of shows our age, but we want to share with you things that we've discovered over those years. And I know some of you, I guess, are in different situations. You might be at the early stages of homeschooling. Maybe you're not even homeschooling and you're just thinking about it. Maybe you're at the stage of thinking about qualifications. In fact, it'd be really helpful to us if you wouldn't mind popping in the chat bar, maybe the age of your children, whether you're homeschooling or not, just so we can get a feel for who we're talking to and what you need to hear about. Yeah, exams, further education, and different routes is always a big question. Trying to click on to the next slide. So I need to move the screen. Apologies. No, it's better. There we go. So my name's Jenny Cassidy. I've been home educating my 7 children, with my youngest being twins. We've just got 1 year to go. And yes, we have all these questions. What we'll do is we'll go through the slides and maybe keep questions to the end, just so we get all the information in, and then we can be open to any questions that you have. Yeah, just introduction to myself is me and my family, and I say the picture on the left there is just to prove that they were cute once. I say I don't say I home educated them. I say I think we were on a home education journey together. I've learnt a lot as we've gone along, as I'm sure others of you who home educate know that it's such a learning experience for us too. But yes, we feel very blessed to have been able to do this. And I just encourage you all, if you're homeschoolers or you're thinking about it, that I just really encourage you that they can graduate, they can be successful, they can become wonderful adults. It's all worth it, especially at times when it can be difficult, as we know it can be. And yeah, even through those secondary school years, high school years, I'm not a teacher myself. Helen is the teacher. I'll let you introduce yourself, Helen, and
Hi.
your family.
So my family, it was last summer. I've got 7 kids. We've both actually got 7 kids. We've both got 5 boys and 2 girls, strangely enough. And then there's an extra one there if you count up. So that was a husband, well, a fiance at that time, and became a husband last summer. So we homeschooled. I still got my youngest. Our kids are very sort of similar ages and things. So my youngest is 17. Actually did an AP exam yesterday. He's the one on the right. He did an AP microeconomics exam yesterday, and he's got AP music theory next Monday. So we had a very hectic day in London yesterday doing that. So yeah.
So just a little bit of backstory how we found ourselves here. We both are UK consultants for an American high school program. So Stomach's Learning has nothing to do with that, but we happen to have been for a number of years consultants for an American program. And we got to the point where we could see there was such an interest in people taking APs instead of A levels. For those who, I think we have at least one American here who might not know the system over here, but we realized that APs can be accepted as university entrance, as equivalent to A levels. Helen taught an online class in economics. She organized an English teacher and there was just more kids wanting to do more subjects. So to cut a long story short, we decided to provide a service and offer Christian teachers, because that was so important to us. Even though they're secular exams, we had teachers that we knew that was important for some families to have, that we would be able to provide those for them, and or like with a Christian ethos, and just being able to support parents and encourage good exam results, and of course, benefiting students beyond their school years. In case you're wondering, we chose St. Thomas Aquinas as our kind of patron saint, and he was known as the dumb ox. He was a huge guy. He was very, very smart, but I guess he still thought of all of his knowledge as nothing in the light of the enormity of God, I suppose. So a lot of people ask us about why we chose that name. Helen.
Yeah, we're fairly unique in that we offer British and American qualifications. So I don't know anyone else that offers both. So we're offering GCSEs and several American qualifications, and that's our USP, is our kind of difference to other people. So we're first of all going to explain the American. We're going to go for the American ones, and then we'll spend the British ones. So first of all, go with the American ones. So the way we find it easiest to explain it, and apologies if you know all this already, you can just mute us or do something else for a few minutes, but I know some people will know different pieces of information, so it's always difficult to know where to begin with all this. But the way that we find it easiest to explain it is in terms of pillars. So these are pillars. You can see the goldy bits, they're 3 pillars. So we have the high school diploma, the HSD pillar, and we have the SAT pillar and the APs pillar. So there's like 3 sort of components to the American qualifications. You don't necessarily need all 3. It's kind of safer, I suppose, to do all 3, but there's kind of like three parts to it. So we're just going to go through each of them in turns. The first one we're going to do is the high school diploma.
Of course, for an American, it's very obvious what a high school diploma is, but for those in the UK, took me a while to get my head around it. So basically, it's 4 years of study, very unlike the GCSE A-level route that you may have done yourselves, or have maybe had children doing. Of course, it's heavy on exam results, the GCSE A-level route, and this is just so different in that it's based on 3 years of study, and that spans from the school years 10 to 13, grades 9 to 12 in the US, and it's based on the hours of study spent rather than exams. I just like to show an example of a high school transcript to try and make it a little bit clearer. So I've got numbered there 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 4 years. This is just an example of what a student might do in each grade. I'll just zoom in. The next slide has got 2 of the years zoomed in, so it's a bit closer and you can see. The average grade for the year is translated into numbers. So example, for grade 9 here, has a GPA, a grade point average here of 3.36, because of the letter grades here that translate into these numbers. I hope that's simple enough explanation. And then, of course, the 4 years then have a grade point average in total. So it's just, you've achieved a high school diploma with a grade point average of whatever it is. And then if a college or a place of employment or whatever sees your transcript, they can see the kind of subjects that you've studied, the levels, their titles will indicate what kind of level that subject was, etc. The beauty is, no, sorry, I'm skipping. Yes. Next slide, I think.
So one of the reasons why it's a good idea is that it's broader than UK qualifications. Um, you can there's a more you have more choice about what to include in your high school diploma. Exams can be optional, so you can do exams in the subjects, but you don't have to do the exams in the subjects. You could, for example, you could do GCSEs as part of your high school diploma, and that you could get high school credit for those. You can include vocational work. We don't offer the high school diploma, but we can put you in contact with people that do. So we're, as Jenny said, we're consultants for one particular program. So we know a lot about it, but we don't. Dunmox doesn't offer high school diploma. That's not what we do. But you may decide. So it just kind of fits in with the APs. So you may do that. You don't have to do the high school diploma. It's like you could do GCSEs, but we just kind of find it useful so that people know what it is, because it's something that, because if we're talking about American qualifications, it's helpful to know what it is. If you are doing a high school diploma, which I know some of you are, then you've got to kind of think, is it enough to get into university or to get work? And it may not be enough. And that's kind of what we found. So what else do you need? So we've just talked about the one on the left, a high school diploma. And then the next sort of like pillar, the next part of it is the SAT. So the SAT is a maths and reading comprehension and grammar exam. It's not anything. It's not like reading Macbeth or something and having to learn Macbeth. There's passages that you haven't seen before, and you're asked questions about them. And there's lots of things about grammar. So you'll be given sort of lots of sentences and asked whether this was the right sentence or the wrong sentence, or it's all multiple choice. And in the maths section, I did actually my last class today for maths prep course for this. And you take it in a local private school. It's a numerical school out 1600. You get your results in about 3 weeks, and it's all digital, so it's done on something called Blue Book on the computer, and you just go and take it, and you get your score. There's lots of prep courses around. Lots of things like Khan Academy help you prepare for it, and British universities will want to know what your SAT score is. Generally, most of them do. This is
This
just
was
the
the
one that we
little plug
finished.
for your class, Helen. But of course, I realise that's the one that finished today, right?
Did, yeah.
But there will be another one coming up at the end of August. Of course, it is possible to study for this exam yourself, but there is a particular kind of exam strategy. I think it's very much how do you, learn what the strategy is to get the best score, kind of thing. So it is really good to get help from someone who does have experience in the exam, in the SAT exam.
So we've done the high school diploma, done the SAT, and now the APs. So an AP is accepted as equivalent to an A level. So if you want to go and do an apprenticeship, or you're applying for a job, or you're applying for university, then it's accepted equivalent to an A level. If you're applying for American universities, then it can give you college credit for American universities. So my son has gone to Florida, and he had 4 APs, so he got college credit. So he doesn't have to do as many courses at college, which can be cheaper in America. You don't have to do as many courses. So my son, who's did an exam yesterday, he's going to hopefully do 5 APs with a view of being kind of well qualified for British universities. You don't need 3, you only need 3 generally for British universities, but he's going to apply to American universities, and hopefully, the idea is to try and get scholarships. The one that's there at the moment got a scholarship, and another one that got a scholarship. So, that's one of the reasons why we might want to do APs to American universities. So in the UK, we have Edexcel and AQA and OCR. The AP is administered by something called the College Board. They also administer the SAT. So they are just the examining body, the College Board. It's a 2-hour exam. It happens in May, so it happens this week and next week in May. It's this part of May, right at the beginning. Almost all of them are half multiple choice and FRQs, or sometimes essay, depending on the subject. That tends to be what they are. There's an exam centre. There's 2 this year. There's one in London, one in Oxford. That's the trickiest part of the whole process for the APs, is the exam centre. There isn't likely to be one local to you unless you live in London. But the win-win is it's a 1-year prep, unlike A levels. So you can do it in 1 year, and A levels take 2 years. So many homeschoolers many homeschoolers in the UK do GCSEs and then they go to school for A levels. We didn't want that for our children. It's possible to do A levels at home, but it's quite difficult to do them at home. Not many people do it. It's very expensive. Sitting the exam is very expensive. So that's the kind of win-win of APs. At most British homeschoolers send their kids homeschool and then they send their kids to school for A levels. That was like for our family, that was absolutely the last age we wanted our kids to be at school. Almost like if we could pick the worst 2 years to be at school, they'd be the 2 years. We really wanted them to continue being at home and to be able to still educate them at home. We really wanted them at home during those kind of really important years. So for us, that was part of the attraction. But with the APs, they've been able to do a lot of other things as well because they're 1 year. A levels tend to be all encompassing. So they've done lots of other things as well, lots of other courses, jobs, things like that. So it's been very manageable and it's kind of fitted very well with family life. The APs can also be used as high school credit if you're doing a diploma. And I said about the US colleges. How do you know what a university requires? You've got to look at, so say for example, NIMI, Bath University, you would look at international. There's a section that will say international students, and then it will have India, Poland, Australia, America. So you just have every country in the world. You click on America because we're talking about American qualifications, and then it just tells you what APs you need, what SATs you need, what grade point average you need. It'll tell you if you are doing American qualifications, it will tell you which ones you need, and it's usually 3 APs for a good university.
And these were just some examples of different universities that we looked up, so you can see examples of what's required there at Southampton, Cambridge. I think these are a little bit older, maybe a year or two ago. But yeah, basically that's the way to check. Unfortunately, they're not all uniformly the same, but you get the idea. This is definitely old because this one says subject tests, SAT subject tests. They don't exist anymore, I don't think. This is just the list of the APs that Domox Learning is offering this coming year. And the SAT, there'll be shorter courses for the SAT prep because they're various times during the year. They're not just once a year exams. I had a little video of Kenton, but can you hear that?
No.
I wondered. It's just a little example of one of our teachers who teaches AP Human Geography. I think I have to fiddle with how I get the sound to play to you because I can hear it. It's this little example.
It's on our website. You can listen to it on the website.
Yeah. So this is what's included on when we offer the AP exam prep courses. It's 30 live Zoom classes for an hour a week, and then the teacher gives a book list prior to the start of the class. Weekly, he or she weekly sets a piece of work that's marked as homework, and the students are set up for the week with what the studies they need to do for the week. We use Google Classroom where you can view the week ahead. They have a practice paper in March, and email contact with the teacher, and a report to the parents at the end of each 10-week block. So that was the APs. So over to the UK qualifications.
Well, sorry, I was reading the question. Sorry, distracted. Sorry. Yeah, okay. IGCSEs. So we also offer IGCSEs because people have wanted us to do them. People have asked us to do them. I'm a teacher, so I've been teaching maths and business studies for ages. So it just kind of made sense that to offer those as well. And sometimes people just want to do just say maths and English. So then we've had, I know, teachers have approached us, or we've had families approaching us. So we're now offering these subjects, and we hope to offer more each year. So these are the ones that we're offering, and some of them are Some of them are new. I think physics and chemistry are going to be new next year. I teach the English, sorry, I teach the maths, not English, no way. So I teach the maths and the business studies. Yeah.
And all Christian teachers, of course.
Mm-hmm. And it's a similar setup, just slightly longer. It's 32 live Zoom classes. You get a book list, which you've got. There'll be homework grading each week. So I've got my maths class tomorrow morning, so I've graded a piece of homework each week, and then I've set them work to do during the week, which is like a combination of sort of videos and things to watch and things to do. There's like a textbook, which they've got answers to, and as they work through things themselves. All set up in Google Classroom, and then we report back to the parents, quite regularly. So it's much more once a year, because we want to keep parents updated about what's going on. I think that's just saying again what we do. We do these two courses.
A lot of people say that they can't get their
Again, it was another lovely testimony of Helen's maths class. I'm sorry you can't hear. And just a little plug for we do enrichment classes as well that are just purely for fun and no exams or qualifications or anything. This is some of the ones we've had before. There will be a new set coming out in September, and next January. We tend to have done those twice a year. There is a summer book club starting next week for age 9+ boys. That's going to be really fun, and it's very popular. It's filling up really quickly. So if you're interested in that at all, let us know. They're a 1 hour a week too, live Zoom. But yeah, just to sort of enrich the whole home education journey with something fun. That's our pricing there. If you're not already, you could pop your email in the comments if you wanted to be added to our mailing list, so you can hear about upcoming courses and everything. Do let us know if you're not on it already. And this is, that's the two lists of the APs and the IGCSEs. Lastly, I just wanted to give a quick mention before we finish. This is right at the end. This is just a really exciting recent development. We're partnering with Mary's Meals, which some of you may have heard of. In Scotland, maybe. It's based in Scotland. We're sponsoring, hopefully entirely, a small school in a small village. We will sponsor the whole school. This is actually a picture of one of the teachers in the school. Her name's Stella, and apparently they have a Dumox learning sign up in their school, which is really nice, and they're very happy that we've agreed to provide the daily meals in the school. They said, we were told that they said not just because of the meals, but because they know they're not forgotten, that others care about them. I thought that was so nice that we can actually support a school. It'd be a similar size to the enrollments that we're having, and they say once the school knows that they're going to be provided with meals every day, the enrollment usually go up. So we're hoping the school will grow as Dumox Learning grows. And so every child that is enrolled for a year-long course will get fed a meal in that school every day. That's exciting. Just a few testimonies and any questions. It's probably better if I stop the screen sharing, I suppose. Is there questions in the chat, Helen? I don't see the chat.
No, just one. So I think we said, I think on that previous slide there, it's like said how much they cost. I think we said how much our costs, how much the course costs. It's just like the Dumox, but if the actual exam, exam costs, well, this last year it was £175 to sit, which is, just very, I mean, A-levels, I've heard people spending up to £800 trying to sit an A-level as a private candidate. So it's not usually that much, but I have heard crazy figures, but it's usually much more than £175.
And more than one exam, right?
Yes. Well, no, but you'd only pay, so it'd be more than one paper, but you would just pay for one thing. So
yeah.
would you mind telling us more about A levels? We don't do A levels, so we don't. That's not our thing. So I mean, A levels are a British exam, which takes 2 years, and we don't offer A levels because we wouldn't see the merit in it. We just kind of feel it's, you know, makes much more sense to offer APs. So yeah, we don't offer A levels. So sorry, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I can't tell you more about A
I
levels.
don't think they're a great idea for, I mean, some people, I guess, do them, but I don't hear many homeschoolers doing them purely on their own. I don't know. I guess there's some people that offer classes, but that's the big thing why we started, because we just thought, you know, here's something that can be accepted as equivalent, but it's so much easier and so much more conducive to a homeschooling situation. I think you can still carry on doing your whatever you want to teach them. You know, the beauty of home education, right, is that we're doing the education that we want our kids to have, rather than what's the hoops that you have to jump in to get this, to do that, you know. So you've still got flexibility in your own homeschooling, but you can fit in these APs, get the equivalent of A levels, but they don't interfere as much as with other studies that you may want to do. That's the way I kind of look at it. We do a classical curriculum. We like to have that flexibility, so it's something that doesn't encroach as much.
So do high school diplomas need to be accredited for UK, or can you write your own if you do it properly? For UK universities, they certainly does seem to be that they prefer you to have it accredited. For employment, I'm not sure. I think maybe it doesn't matter so much, but if you want to go to university, then yeah, university do seem to want it. I guess there may be some universities that wouldn't be bothered about it, but it seems safer to get it accredited. But you know, I guess it's up to you whether you want to do that, or whether there's a lot of universities out there, so you may find some that don't need it to be accredited. But I know people have found that they wanted to go to places and it's been a problem. How does GCSE maths compare to the SAT maths at the same level? It's different. It's probably higher than GCSE, but it's just kind of quite different. American maths is quite different from UK maths. So there'll be an awful lot of overlap. And if you've done GCSE maths, then you know that you'd certainly be well able to just start preparing for the SAT maths. And there isn't really stuff that's harder, I'd say, than GCSE maths, but just different stuff that you'd have to do. And there'll be certainly a lot of stuff on the GCSE that you don't need to know for the SAT maths. So not really hard, maybe a little bit harder, but just different, really, different kind of course. Have your children done the SAT SATs? Yeah, my kids have all done the SATs. They've yeah, I've got 7. So my 7 kids, 6 have gone on to university. 2 in the UK, sorry, 4 in the UK and 2 in the US. And my youngest, I've still got my youngest one. You know, we'll see. So, how many high school credits is one AP? It's not like that. They're just separate. They're not. So an AP could it's the other way around. So an AP could be 1 high school credit. Because you'll have done a course over, you'll have done an AP over a year, and that'll be 120 hours or thereabouts, maybe more. So a class is 1 credit. I guess if you spent more than 120 hours on it, then it'd be 2 credits perhaps, or 1.5. But yes, an AP might count for your high school diploma, but high school credits don't count for don't become an AP or something. An AP is just like a separate standalone thing. Okay, so how long have you been going? So our not that long. 3. This will be our 3rd, maybe 4th year. 4th year, I think. So 4th year. So our kind of. I mean, it depends on the subject. I mean, I had. So I teach AP Micro, and it's on. It's all our APs. The results of courses that we've done are on the website, so you can have a look and see what the track record is for the AP courses. I know I teach AP Micro, and that was like well above the national average. So yeah, I mean it's there for people to sort of like see what the results are. So they're just on the thing. What's the track record by graduates? I mean, a big question. I mean, I suppose it's just different. I mean, yeah.
And I think one thing to
suppose
say
I
is it's we'll be seeing it more and more because this is our third, fourth year of exams happening. A lot of people, another big plus I think of, unlike you do the GCSEs and then you do your A levels, because you're putting your APs into your high school diploma if you choose to do it that way. You can do, I think Ambrose is a good example. He did his first AP in 10th grade, was it?
Mhm.
And then he did 2 in 11th grade, and then he'll do 2 more next year. So, we've had students that they're not at that stage where they're actually going into university yet. I'm sure we've had some enter university with them.
Mhm.
We should make
Yeah, I'm just trying to make a list actually of like what just like off the top of my head or anything. So Sheffield, I think of like kids that have done these American exams and where they've gone to. So Sheffield, Cardiff, St Andrews, York, they're the ones top myself. There was one that went to some fancy art school in London, the Courtauld or something. He went there. Yeah, I'm just trying to think where they've gone to the top of my head. But yeah, I mean it's like a variety of places. It hasn't been a problem to get to universities.
Mm.
Uh, okay, so Sheffield maths, St Andrews was physics, Cardiff, um, history, York, history of art, midwifery at Worcester. So yeah, I mean, I don't count with more, but at the top of my head, I'd have to sort of think about it.
Lots.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can finish your high school diploma, and then sit your AP exams the following year, or like we say, you can put them in there if you wish, and you can do them different years. So yeah, high school transcript to get accredited. I need to remember the names of the companies that there's various out there, right? That you can get accredited transcripts.
Yeah, I'll put a few names down. So there's
The names.
homeschool directive.
Directive.
I'm trying to work in the UK. There one person. There's a relation called Clanara. Depends if you want a Christian one or not. There's Home Life Academy. I mean, these are the ones I think that we've worked with. But I mean, there's just loads. I mean, there's lots and lots of different people out there. We keep thinking we should partner with one and get a cut because we keep recommending all these people.
Yeah.
And so
No, you can't sit all the AP exams in the UK, right? Some of them are a little bit obscure, and there is an awful lot of them. Do you
yeah,
know
no,
off the top of your head, Helen, how many
I,
is that?
I think if it's Dumox offer it, then you can sit it in the UK, plus more of the sciences. So you can sit like all the science ones, and all the maths ones, plus the other subjects that Dumox offer. But there hasn't been anyone anywhere in the UK this last year to sit, say, the language exams. So if you're interested, if you're particularly interested in a subject and Dumox offer it, then I think it will be offered. We've got a very good relationship with the College Board. I met with the head of the College Board yesterday, the head of the international head of the College Board yesterday. If you, I don't know, we may have some sway. So if you want to do some subjects and we're not offering it and you want to do it, then we may be able to find a way that you can do it. I suppose we've been able to help some people do things.
It's 23 credits, the high school diploma amount. I think it's 23.
Yeah, different organizations are different, but somewhere in that, yeah, it might be 25, it might be 30 or something with someone, but it's going to be something around that. Yeah. Great. All these
Great.
questions. It's great.
Any more for any more?
Yeah.
I'd love to know what all your plans are. Has anybody got plans?
So yeah.
I mean, there's so many options out there, right?
Yes, so GCSE seems to be 2 credits over 2 years. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. You mean that explain the high school diploma better? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so today, you know, we could easily have spent half an hour explaining the high school diploma. But it's just, you know, I don't know how many people might be doing it already. I know there's definitely people here that are doing it already and they don't really want to do it. I mean, we always sort of say that a lot of people, you know, just want to talk to us one-to-one. It's sometimes just really helpful to talk one-to-one, because, you know, your own children are, you know, they're unique and you want to talk about them. And also, you know, to be frank, if you're going to do some of our courses, it's a lot of money. So, you know, a lot of people want to just, you know, talk through the situation and their children, and that's what I would want to do. I wouldn't want to spend that kind of money without having a proper conversation with people. So, you know, we'd be really happy to meet with you one-to-one, just to kind of explain in more detail the kind of how it works. Well, Homeschool Directive will also meet with you. I mean, obviously they're going to try and sell it to you, but they'll be very happy to meet with you and explain to you how their one works. I think any of the organisations will be willing to meet you, and I think
I
Homeschool
think they do
Directive,
free 20-minute consultations.
yeah,
Don't
so
they?
they would do that. Okay, so you're the other way around. So someone's saying they're American
Yeah,
and having trouble working their way around the
it's so different.
I know,
It's
I
such a
know,
different.
yeah. I know, I can see the problem. We'd be happy to meet. I mean, I'm happy to sort of meet and try it. So basically, the UK system is they do GCSEs, which are 2 years between 16 to 18, and then they do, no, other way around, between 14 and 16. So GCSEs between 14 and 16, and you usually do somewhere. If you're a homeschooler, you tend to do about 5. If you're in school, you tend to do about 9, and then you do A levels, which are, you do about 3 of those, and that's between 16 to 18. That's kind of it.
Roughly.
Yeah. Yeah. So just send us a message if you want to,
Yeah,
if you want to meet.
sure,
if you want to
Melody.
meet.
And it's I couldn't get my head around the fact that you could do something like an AP, which was like an A level, but you could also, that could count as your high school diploma, as well as a higher level thing, as well as college credit. Like you could use the same thing in 3 different places, kind of thing, and that was okay. It wasn't cheating.
I know. I mean that's very particular of American. Well, I just think it's a bit nuts,
Yeah,
really. But I mean that's how it is. That you can, yeah, as Jenny said, your AP can be high school credit. It could just be a separate thing, an AP, and it can also be for college credit. It's like, how does that work? But that's how it works. That's the thing.
this is different. It's just
Yeah.
different. We get used to what's just seems normal for us.
Yeah. But you know, we've been doing this a long time, and yeah, it really is. Yeah, takes a long time to get your head around.
Okay, it's 1:15. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Do send us your email or message your email if you're not on our mailing list already.
And yeah, we'd love to work with you. You know, we've had really, you know, it was just so great. I teach AP Micro, and so great meeting students yesterday, and it's just such a journey. It's such a wonderful journey with those students during the year. I think, you know, all the AP teachers have found that, you know, that you meet with these young people, you know, for me, I was meeting them daily in the end, but you know, usually meet them once a week, and
it's
just
always
great.
small group. It's you get to know each other.
Yeah, and GCSE classes as well. You know, my GCSE maths class, I got them tomorrow, and you know, it's great. So we really are trying to build a great, you know, great teachers, great sort of fellowship. We've just started a WhatsApp group just today, actually, just from the AP students, just to chat to each other and, you know, become friends and things, and yeah, which is great. So we're really trying to do more things and stuff, and we're really trying to do things well, and yeah,
I
we're
meant to
happy
say
help
that
homeschoolers.
of course that we have all Christian teachers, which we're very open about, and that's something that makes us different than others. But of course, anybody can come to the class. In fact, we've had a lot of interest from Muslim families because they appreciate that what quality of teacher they're going to get when they know they're Christians. Interesting. But the enrichment classes are they're more explicitly Christian courses, just so you know that, because not always, you know, necessary in the subject that they're on, but much more, you know, for Christian kids, which is great. I mean, they sound great fun too, the fellowship and everything. Okay, thank you so much. I'm happy to stay on another 5-10 minutes if anybody wants to keep chatting, but you're all very welcome and thank you for coming. Keep in touch.